finally got the launch of Season 3 for Zenless Zone Zero, and with it we get a brand new character with Velina, who is introducing a new element in wind. There has been a lot of interesting discussions surrounding the Season 3 designs, and honestly it's been really hard not to get swept up in the excitement. For today, it's time we go over the newest agent Velina, and I'll be talking about her skin as well. Just to be on the safe side, if you want to experience the beginning of Season 3 with no spoilers, I suggest clicking off this video and returning once you're done with the latest missions. My first impressions of Velina was honestly pretty minimal. I thought she looked nice, but there wasn't much about her design that really stood out to me. If anything, I struggled to figure out what was going on with the top half of her design. The white bow and the white hair being almost the exact same shade of white made it really difficult to tell what's going on. I found myself asking if she had a long bow on her head with multiple layers, or if it was her hair intricately styled to look like a bow. Having these two be the exact same shade of white was not a good choice. She really could have benefited from borrowing some of the darker blues throughout her outfit and putting a splash of that on the bow. Even if they just added a small dark blue trim on the edges, or if the bow had an ombre style that faded from white into a dark blue, or a small dark blue pattern resembling her faction, anything would have helped here. Hold on closer looks, it looks like she has a little hat on her head too. I didn't catch that at all until I looked at the first reveal trailer and saw her with a different lighting. I like the primary colors of white and blue as they work well together. The gold accents are a nice touch and it's not overused. I especially like that the earring shape matches the same shape on her chest and dress. I like that her weapon is a big fan, but once again, the white of this large fan blends into the white of her hair and her bow. Her fan weapon looks much cooler when it's in this sheathed sword form that you can see when running around in the hollows. Don't get me wrong, Velina is a pretty character, but her design has numerous struggles. I didn't even realize she had large braids in her hair until halfway through this Season 3 story quest. Her upper half is particularly muddy, and it's hard to see where the shapes begin and end. Moving on to her blue dress, we not only have the detached sleeves, but the longer in the back and shorter in the front style, and I mean it's really short in the front. I have seen some of the other female designs for Season 3, and it looks like this super short cloth in the front is going to be a repeating idea. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this choice. I get that the designers really want to emphasize her hips and chest, but I don't find this super short dress appealing. I wouldn't be shocked if every time she took a step that she'd end up flashing somebody. Scratch that, all you have to do is look at her side and you can see her underwear. They could have kept the short dress length but just extended the fabric to cover the hips as well, and it would honestly look far sexier in my opinion. Having the hips stand out like this doesn't feel intentional but rather forced for Velina. For a character who has an entire trailer on etiquette, it feels like her outfit is a stark contrast to her temperament. Does proper etiquette involve flashing people with any slight step you might take? This is further emphasized by the sheer tights that stop on her thighs. I get the white of the tights are there to help balance out the white near the top of the design with the bow and the hair, but it just fails to do so. For a wind character, her outfit is oddly revealing yet bulky at the same time. Her longer dress portions look like they have a bunch of chunky metal parts on the pattern. We also have yet another Zenless Zone Zero character in heels. I praised this game in my first ZZZ designed video, and one of my talking points were the realistic shoes. The construction company had proper shoe wear, for example, and now it would be jarring if Grace suddenly waltzed up with heels. Ever since Season 2, we seem to be getting more heels and more detached sleeves for the female cast. And hey, I get it, heels are cool, and I personally like the detached sleeve style. My own model has it for goodness sake. But now I find myself critiquing ZZZ for falling into the design trope and not just Genshin anymore. Remiel, Claire, and Roxy from the initial Season 3 teaser all seem to share the detached sleeve trope, with Velina in Season 3 alone. That's already 4 characters. Thankfully, Velina's saving grace is her interesting and oddly satisfying gameplay. Being able to summon giant wind tornadoes that can absorb other attributes is cool. I like swinging a giant fan around and it feels powerful and fun to play. If it weren't for the interesting combat, I would have skipped Velina entirely. Velina is the leader of ESD, which is short for the External Security Department. Does anything about Velina tell you that her main role is security? Looking at her official wiki page, she is described as an elegant woman from a prestigious family, and as a result, she underwent a strict upbringing. I'm sorry, but the forced fan service in this design ruins any image of elegance that that Velina was intended to have. I guess you could argue that her more revealing outfit today is a rebellion against her strict upbringing, but her temperament doesn't reflect this so far. She's a quiet protector of Bangboo and is often called a death witch, as many of the Bangboo actually fear her. She's responsible and is often found looking out for other characters in the cast, especially Norma. For someone part of a faction that deals with Bangboo, there's not a single element of visual storytelling that clues us into that. Bangboo motifs go to Norma, whose design makes it extremely clear that she works with Bangboo. In that sense, Norma's design does a much better job at telling us who she is at a glance over Velina. As you play through the story, you'll find out that Velina is actually the angel that is looking after the Bangboo and helping them keep their core memories before they move on to New Eridu. We get this really sweet scene at the end of the first mission with the Bangboo realizing that the one they treated so poorly before was actually the same one who helped them when they were in great distress. It's an interesting contrast, and by using the word angel, we were intentionally led astray to think Remiel was the culprit hurting the Bangboo. Turns out it's an even greater ethereal threat, but that angel was Velina, who was helping the Bangboo and keeping tabs on them. I didn't realize I disliked this design so much until I got into the weeds while writing this script. I really didn't mean to get so negative, so let's just go ahead and look at her skin to end on a more positive note, because I actually like this skin far more than her original outfit. This skin does have the same issues of the short cloth in the front of her body with the exposed hip, but the color balance is way better here. The biggest upgrade is that the bow now has 2 different colors, which solves the blending in with the hair problem. I can clearly see that there are 2 layers to her bow, one being black and the other being a light blue. There's a splash of white near her boots that helps balance the colors out more, and I love the little bits of blue near her shoulders. I saw an edit that someone made where they gave Velina sheer black tights, and that really tied together this outfit. If I can find it again, I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see and link it in the description. Unfortunately, this skin doesn't convey elegance either, which is a part of her character, but it is certainly an upgrade from her original outfit. The colors work better and the shapes are clearer. If this skin was free, I would definitely swap Velina to this and never look back. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please leave a like and consider subscribing. If you really like Velina's design, please understand that this video is not a personal attack against you or any other Velina fans. My videos are my opinion, and I'd love to hear what you like or dislike about her design in the comments below. Just remember to keep it respectful. If you want to watch more, I have an entire playlist dedicated to my Let's Discuss Design series you can watch next. So far, my only other design from ZZZ is Promea, but if you play Genshin, there's far more from that series in there. I hope to see you in the next one.